Do you want to stay more focused on the right goals in your life, or even just figure out what the right goals are for you? Do you want clarity? Do you want better work-life balance? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to Success Through Failure.
Welcome to the Success Through Failure podcast, the show that reveals failure as your path to success. You'll listen to intriguing interviews with some of the most successful people on the planet and learn how their failures became a launchpad for success and how yours can too. Here's your host, former Division I All-American wrestler, former Division I head coach, speaker, and personal coach, Jim Harshaw.
Welcome to another episode of Success Through Failure. This is your host, Jim Harshaw, and today I'm bringing you another solo episode, just me, and today we're talking about how to say no without offending people and how to say no without losing out on opportunities. So how to say no, that's such a hard thing, especially if you're listening to this podcast right now. You're the type of person who wants to maximize their life, who wants to learn how to deal with doubt, deal with failure, deal with setbacks so you can maximize your life. You're the type of person who wants to do everything. You want to take advantage of every opportunity. You want to do all these things. And sometimes we're overwhelmed by things that we want to say yes to. And we say yes to too many things. And that means we're saying no inherently to something else. And that might mean saying no to your family, or no to working out, or no to just having balance in your life, or no to doing the high value task or the highest value tasks that are going to advance you in your job or in your career. So we're going to talk about that today, and I'm going to give you specific ways, actual scripts, the actual words to use in order to say no that'll help you feel more comfortable saying no. So we're going to talk about a little bit more about why to say no and specifically how to say no, which has been hard for me lately because we finally said yes. We said no to having a puppy for a long time. Got 4 kids. They've been begging us to have a puppy for 5 years. So my youngest is 4 years old. So before she came along, we told the kids, yeah, maybe in a year or two. And then we had her, and we said, well, maybe when Isla, her name's Isla, my youngest is Isla. We said, well, maybe when Isla's 2 years old, we can think about getting a puppy. Well, 2 years old came and went, 3 years old came and went, 4 years old, your 4th birthday came and went. And here we are approaching her 5th birthday. And finally we broke. We said yes to a puppy, which inherently means saying no to sleep, saying no to going camping for the next month or two, probably until it gets a little bit older. Saying no to having a clean house because it's going to poop and pee all over the floor. Saying no to joy. Saying no to happiness. All those things. So I'm kidding, of course. We're excited to have a puppy, but it inherently means saying no to certain things, at least in the short term. But it's going to be, actually, by the way, we're getting the type of dog we're getting is, and don't tell my wrestling friends the name of this, it's called a Sprudel, which doesn't sound like a tough dog, and it's not from what I gather, but it's an English Springer Spaniel mixed with a poodle. So awesome dog, probably going to be supposed to be really smart, the right size, hypoallergenic, it's not going to shed, that good stuff, which is awesome. So we're excited. We are getting a puppy. And I always grew up with dogs, always had 2 dogs growing up. They were outside dogs. We had a basset hound and a beagle. They were hunting dogs. And I grew up on 10 acres, and they were outside dogs. And so it's going to be totally different. We're having an inside dog. And we used to just let our dogs run around our property because we had a ton of space. But now we're going to have to take the dog on walks and pick up its poop with our hand inside of a plastic bag, which is just disgusting. But such is life. I'm a domesticated man now. I always swore that I would never live in the city, and my first home was in the city, downtown Charlottesville, and I swore I would never live in a development, and my second home is in a development. We live in a development called Forest Lakes in Charlottesville, and I have to admit it's awesome. There's like trails everywhere, paved trails, single-track mountain biking trails. There's ponds and lakes and pool and playground and all that good stuff. So, but I digress. How to say no. This is actually not an episode on saying no. This is an episode on saying yes. Because, we're not talking about turning down opportunities. We're not talking about being the one who doesn't help out or step up. We're talking about the person and being the person who says yes to the right things. When you say yes to the wrong things, you're inherently saying no to something else. When you say yes to the wrong thing, you're saying no to something else that's more important. And you certainly have to do the work to figure out, what do I say yes to? What do I say no to? And I'm going to address that here as well. But let's talk first about why you should say no. Okay? Like I said, the first point here is there's just really 2 points on why to say no. Number one is you're inherently saying no. Yes to something means you're inherently saying no to something else. So that's number one. And number two is either way, you're going to feel some guilt if you say yes or you say no to something, right? If you say yes to something you don't want to say yes to, or you say no to that thing, let's say you're the kind of person, and most of us, at some level feel a little bit guilty or a little bit bad for saying no, but we oftentimes feel guilty or feel bad for saying yes, because we know that saying yes to that volunteering opportunity on a Saturday afternoon, if we say yes to that, it means saying no to going to our kids' soccer game or wrestling match or whatever. But if we say no to that volunteering opportunity, but yes to our kids, there's that little tinge of guilt about not stepping up or not volunteering or not helping out the organization who depends on volunteers or whatever the case might be. So either way, you might feel that level of guilt, but it's like, why not in the end make the logical choice, the choice that keeps us most in balance, that aligns most with our values. Roy Disney said, it's not hard to make decisions whenever you know what your values are. It's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are. So you have to do that work that allows you to understand your values. And that's the first piece that we go through in Reveal Your Path, is really doing the deep work to help you discover what those meaningful core values are to you, so that you can actually use those to make decisions. And it's kind of cool the way we do it. My clients get a mnemonic. They find a way to remember these core values. For me, it's faith, family, fit, fun. They all 4 words that start with the letter F. Fit actually has 2 meanings for me: fitness, but also having a career that fits my passions and my interests. But one of my clients, his is FIRE, fire. Another one's impact. Jerry actually just took a picture of this, and so for you in the Reveal, if you're in the Reveal Your Path group, if you're a client of mine, you're already who Jerry is. But Jerry actually snapped a picture of, he printed out his core values, framed them, put them on his wall. Pretty cool. And he uses those to make decisions every day, right? If he doesn't, if you don't know what to say yes to, not sure what to say yes or no to, you look at those core values and go, okay, there's obviously one choice here that is in alignment with my values. Faith, so his is impact. Fire was another one. There's another one that just popped into my head. Faith was one, FAITH. Anyway, there's just some cool words that the guys have come up with for their core values. And so that's a little bit about why to say no. Let's transition on how to say no. I'm going to give you 4 ways that you can actually say no so that you can spend your time on the right tasks and maintain balance and keep the main thing, right? So the first one is this. Someone asks you to do something, you say, let me check my calendar, or let me confirm another commitment and get back to you. And those are perfectly good answers, right? Let me check my calendar. Let me confirm another commitment. Even if you're not sure what that commitment is, maybe that's a commitment to yourself to work out. Because when you work out, you're a better version of yourself. You can be more focused, more productive at work, right? You can be a better parent or a better family member, a better friend, etc. Right? So let me check my calendar, let me confirm another commitment and get back to you is a perfectly good answer. You don't have to answer yes right away. Second one, not now. Or I can't commit to this right now. I can't commit to this right now. Or just not now. You're not saying no, you're not saying never. You're saying not now. You could say, the timing's not right for me right now. Come back to me next time. If you'd asked me 6 months ago, I might have been able to say yes, but right now I can't. I'm sorry. That's it. So that's the second one. The third one, you can say, my budget won't allow it. My budget won't allow it. So if it's a commitment for, your friends want to go out for a beer and you're like, you know what, I got a more important commitment tomorrow, something like that. Or if it's a commitment, it's something at work, my budget won't allow it. It's as simple as that. And people get that, they understand it, right? And the fourth one is this: simply tell them what I've already told you. If I say yes to this, that means I have to say no to something else. And right now, I have all my priorities where I need them. So if I say yes to this, that just means I have to say no to something else. Right now, I can't say no to anything I'm working on. I'm working on a lot of high priority things. Simple as that. And people get that. People get that if I say yes to this, that means I have to remove something else from my calendar. I have to remove something else from my plate, right? And I'm saying all this so that those are the 4 ways to say no. And I'm saying all this with the understanding that you're a hard worker. You're pushing yourself. You're not wasting your time on Facebook and scrolling through social media and doing things that are wasteful, right? You're doing the right work with your time. If you're saying no so that you can say yes to playing more video games, and maybe unless that aligns with your core values, unless that's a goal of yours, you shouldn't be saying no to something. So I'm basing this assumption that you've already optimized your life. If you've done Reveal Your Path, if you've gone through this process, you've discovered what your core values are, you set meaningful goals that align with those values, you've created this environment of excellence, which includes having the right media in your life, creating the right area, physical space in your life that optimizes your workflow and your ability to be productive and do the right kind of work. If you've incorporated made sure you're spending the right time with the right people in your life, and you have the right speech, self-talk, all right? If you followed that MAPS, MAPS, you've probably heard this before. I've talked about this before in the episode on the podcast here. MAPS, this is your environment of excellence, the media, your area, the people, and the speech, right? If you've optimized all those things, and the fourth and final step of Reveal Your Path, you have the long-term plan for execution and follow-through. If you've done all these things, you've earned the right to say no. If not, if you find yourself wasting time, if you find yourself still unfocused and unproductive, and then you say no, then you're saying no for the wrong reason. You're saying no so that you can waste your time doing something else. And so I trust that you've done this work. And if you haven't, I urge you to take action and do this work now. You can go to jimharshawjr.com/action and get the sort of skeleton version, the blueprint that you can use to go through this and actually take action on these things that I just talked about. There's also a goal setting template in there where you can work on setting meaningful goals. And once you do that, once you optimize your life, you've done the work to make sure you have the right priorities, the right things are on your plate, and you've pushed the wrong things off of your plate. You have to do this work first. Then, when you say no, you've done it for a perfectly good reason. You've earned the right to say no. And just real quickly, I'm going to go through those 4 ways again, and then a couple more points I want to make. Number 1, let me check my calendar, or let me confirm another commitment and get back to you. Number 2, not now, or I can't commit to this right now. Number 3, my budget won't allow it. Number 4, this is my favorite. If I say yes to this, then I have to say no to something else. People get that. People understand that. You don't have to explain your answer. No matter what answer you don't have to explain it. I also want to encourage you to think ahead. You have to know that your automatic response is not just yes. It should be something like, let me check my calendar, or let me confirm and get back to you, or not now, or something else to not say yes in the moment. If you absolutely know that you must say yes as you need to, then jump on it. Say yes. But plan ahead. Think ahead. Practice if you have to. But first, you have to know that your core values are clear, that your goals are clear, that you've done the work to know that you have the right priorities in the 4 areas of your life: relationships, self, health, and wealth. And when you know these things, you will know what to say yes to, and you'll know what to say no to. And now you know how to say no. Okay? Take action on these things. If you know somebody else who's overwhelmed, who needs to hear this podcast episode, I urge you, if you could, please share it. If you can share this with one other person, if you've gotten value from this, or you know somebody else who can get value from this, please take a moment and share it. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to think of ways like how can I really make this easy for you to share it? And so here's what I've done is I've created this link on my website. Go to jimharshawjr.com/share, SHARE, just /share. And I'm going to have some buttons there. All you have to do is click the button. You can share it on Facebook, or you can click the other button, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it on LinkedIn. I think Google Plus is another one I can do there. So I'm going to have just super easy share buttons. So it's really, really easy for you to share it. And you can share it with your social media network, or you can share this with a friend. You can text them, say, hey, just check out Jim Harshaw's podcast. Tell them to go to iTunes. Tell them to go to on Android, they can go to Stitcher. I'm also on Spotify, and just share this. So I would appreciate that. This is how the podcast grows. This is how any podcast really grows, is by word of mouth and by sharing. So I'd appreciate it if you could just take a moment and do that. And we are off to get our puppy here. We're getting this puppy, so I will have had this puppy for a couple of days by the time you get this episode. So wish me luck. Going to get our Sprudel. We don't know exactly what we're going to name him yet, but we're thinking Pax, P-A-X. It's kind of what the kids came up with, but I'll keep you posted on the progress with our Sprudel. If you like this episode, grab the action plan. Go to jimharshawjr.com/action. Again, jimharshawjr.com/action. If you want to share this, if you could, please do that. That would be awesome. jimharshawjr.com/share. Until next time, take the time to get clear on your goals and embrace failure as a stepping stone on your path to success.